Hey everyone, welcome to Success is the New Black. We have an amazing guest with us today. He's going to talk about how he went from the streets to the big screen, coming up next. You ready for the bars? No, I'm just playing.
Now I'm getting turned up. Got Riri.
Hey everybody, happy Sunday. Happy Grammy Sunday.
That's right, Grammy Sunday.
I am your host, Ashida Onrae, and with me I have my co-host.
I'm Tara Johnson. What's up, everybody? Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday, and we have an awesome guest with us today who I was about to put on the spot because he's an award-winning hip-hop artist in addition to other things, but I am not going to do that, so I'm just going to do a nice intro. He's an entrepreneur, a filmmaker, in addition to that hip-hop artist, and he's a theatrically trained actor, Timothy Teach Jones.
Hey, y'all.
Hey,
Thank you for having me.
Welcome to
Success
Success is the New Black.
I'm good, and I have to say, as I was driving up here, I thought about you guys. This is all for real. I'm so proud of you guys, because, you know, the listeners don't know how I met you, and I, checked out your history. To see what you guys are doing now and where you guys are going, I'm just proud of you.
Thank you so much.
For real.
I appreciate that.
You. Am I blushing?
I might be.
I think I am.
You might be. I might be.
Proud.
I am very proud.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
I appreciate that a lot. Thank you so much for that.
Definitely.
And thank you guys for tuning in always. That's always amazing.
So, entrepreneur, filmmaker, hip hop artist, and theatrically trained actor.
Right.
All in one.
Yeah, and when you say it that way, it makes me think about the journey. And that's what the whole film is about. So when you say all those titles, when I hear that, I think about moonlighting and 3 jobs and putting on a wig to be in the play on Friday night and then Saturday morning getting up to... So, you didn't knock it all out at once, but it's all part of the journey. Like, how bad do you want it?
That's sexy. How bad
that's
do you want it?
Amazing. Okay, wait.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
At the top, we gotta know who we are. This is who she is. And we love it. It's all good. Keep it. So you mentioned a film.
Yes.
Your film just came. You just premiered it.
Yes, I did.
In late January.
Yeah, late January was the LA premiere. We did that in Los Angeles. Great turnout. We had over 800 people come. The audience thoroughly enjoyed it. It's a documentary which chronicles my journey from trouble to triumphant, as Ashida alluded to. But the event was amazing. We had a lot of people that, Jimmy Smits was there, his wife, Wanda de Jesus, writers, producers, but then also the community. That's who I want to reach and who I want to inspire.
And the name of the movie is Discovering Destiny.
It's Discovering Destiny.
Okay. And so we're going to talk about the journey to discovering destiny.
Right.
So when you started out very young, you actually studied the piano.
I did. That's funny. You did some research. Yeah, my mother was a singer, and I talk about that in the film. She was a songwriter, and she started to, gain some momentum. She was in conversations with Motown. She really was, like, when you see the newspaper clippings in the documentary, she was starting to make some momentum. And kids came into the play, including me. And then, she sacrificed her dreams to take care of us. But she was always singing around the house. If she was washing clothes, she was singing. If she was cooking, she was singing. So I was always musically inclined. And when I saw somebody playing the piano on TV, it was like, I knew that I wanted to try that.
Nice.
Wonderful. And how long did you play?
I played about 5 years. I was classically trained. I played Beethoven, Mozart, Bach, Chopin. I played on TV. I regret the fact that I stopped because it all sounds impressive now, but as a kid, it's just something that you can do. You guys may have played the clarinet, the saxophone. Well, I played the piano, but coming up in the 80s, there was a stigma that if you were a male and you weren't out in the street or doing what, most people perceive to be masculine, when I start hearing words like gay and weird, I stopped playing. And I regret the fact that I let it go because of peer pressure.
It's interesting. So you experienced some, what we would call now bullying.
Absolutely.
Right. Because of the fact that you were playing the piano and attempting to do something positive.
Yeah, multiple things. Well, it was the piano, it was race. We didn't use the word bullying in the 80s.
Right.
You know, we were just getting punked like on a regular basis. But yeah, I got pressured, you know, to stop because friends would come to the door, knock on the door, can he come out and play? And they'd hear that music thinking it was one of my sisters, and I'm in there practicing. We had to practice 30 minutes a day. And when they found out that it was me, it was almost like my little secret, you know, even though I was like nothing to be ashamed of. And, you know, we called it bagging back then. So they'd be bagging on me.
Yep.
And all of a sudden I was like, I don't play the piano. That ain't me. And I stopped. So I play a little now, but it's not the same.
It's interesting.
Now, from piano, you kind of veered into street life.
Yeah.
How did that transition happen?
Well, the segue was similar to the peer pressure. When I'm drifting away from the piano, I'm gravitating to those cats that actually pressured me to stop playing the piano. But the things that they were involved in, gang banging, drinking, smoking weed, I don't know, you know, I look back on it and I wish I had a son. I got daughters, love my daughters to death. But if I had a son, I would try to teach him how to be a man. And back then, the one thing that I regret is that the guys that had the most influence over me were up to no good. Like, and they were going nowhere. And I look back like with confusion, why did I want so bad to make them proud? And I just started doing the things that they did. And it got me in a lot of trouble.
That's, you know, I guess that's really interesting because we look at the way neighborhoods and kids and things are today, and it doesn't seem to be much different. And you'll talk to some kids in, you know, inner cities and that kind of thing, and they're looking up to ball players and rappers and all that kind of thing or whatever. But there's something about the pull of the bad side or the streets that seem to get people. Is it, I mean, I'm just asking to expound upon it. Did it feel more like a family? Was it the fun? Like, have you been able to figure out exactly what it was?
Oh yeah, now being 42 and looking back on it, you have a lot more insight. So it was multiple things. It was the sense of family. You know, because, and that's a whole nother story that I don't want to, you know, take your entire hour. But because of the fact that I was experiencing so much bullying, when people act like they like you, man, it felt good. Yeah. And they wore blue and they said cuz, and they passed the joint to me and I took a hit and they thought I was cool. I said a joke, they thought I was funny. That meant something to me. And that's why we need more black mentors in the community so that kids don't, you know, fall victim to the wrong choices. Then, you know, and I say this even though I'm talking to women, and this may not apply to you, but when I was a kid, the girls liked the thugs, you know, for some reason. So, you know, if I sag my pants, I got Ashida looking at me now, so I'm like, pull them down, you know. So, you know, and you look back and it's so, I can't figure that out. But we wanted, when I saw the guys drive by in the car, it's like it was yesterday. And when I saw the girls' reaction and the admiration that the guys had, he just got out of prison and he's muscle bound. And I remember all of us looking at him like he was a god. It's unfortunate.
That's real. I mean,
that's interesting.
I think it's really interesting because it seems to be like, what do we need is positive. You're saying we need more positive mentors, but what pull can those positive mentors have that's going to work against the other things that are out there in the streets that seem to be more, you know, readily available and still to be enticing? I think it's an interesting conversation for people out there who, I mean, we all need to mentor in that, you know, in some space and capacity, but it's something to think about. Sometimes just the positive words just aren't enough of a pull against the other things that are out there. Yeah.
And then coming from someone who's experienced it, which because of nowadays, our young black men can actually look up to you and go, okay, he's lived it, he's experienced it, he knows what it's like with that peer pressure to feel like that you have the manhood, the ego, and the pride, and the girl at the same time, but yet deep down inside, you don't want to do this, you don't want to live this life, you don't want to smoke this weed, you don't want to take that hit or whatever it is, and you can help them through that as opposed to someone who's just speaking, just trying to save our youth. You know how to touch them a little bit differently. Well, do you actually mentor?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, that's my passion. You know, the film making. This is my first film. I've been acting for the last 18 years, doing theater, etc. But I've always been rooted in youth ministry, youth, you know, empowerment. That's the thrust of what I do. That's, you know, when I made that transition at the age of 21. That's why I went back into the community, because I wanted to help young men avoid the same mistakes that I made. And
so you decided to make a movie about it?
Well, no, the movie, in 2014, I'll try to make a very long story very short. I've been a manager in corporate America for the last 15 years in the financial industry. And juggling that and acting and this and that, it was exhausting.
Hello.
Right.
And I got to the point where I couldn't do it anymore. And it's very easy to say, well, just quit your job and go make your dream come true. But when you got private school tuition to pay for your daughters 16 and 13, every time I look at them, I get up in the morning, it's time to go to work. You know, I got to take care of them. But I literally got to a point where I couldn't take it anymore. It wasn't just a preference of, I'm just going to quit and try to make my dream come true. And I actually would prefer, I know this sounds dramatic, but I would rather not be on this earth than to not fulfill my purpose.
Not dramatic at all.
I couldn't do it anymore.
I understand it, yes.
So I made a decision. They were passing out severance packages to people, and I prayed, Lord, please let them call my name and lay me off. And you know, most people don't want to get fired or laid off. I begged God, please. And when it was offered to me, I left. And the film came as a result of me just really being at a point where I wanted to fulfill my purpose. And instead of waiting for somebody else to do it, I did it myself.
I love that.
I think it's amazing. No, you're totally fine. I think it's amazing. And I think what you're saying is real. You've had several different twists and turns in your life. When you were out there in the streets, you went through certain things, and we can talk about what helped you pivot from that. But to really understand what your purpose is and not deny that and wait until God delivers you from that and then step into the other thing, I think is an amazing kind of testimony. Yeah. And making the film, we know, wasn't easy.
Absolutely.
And we can definitely talk about that. But do we want to run a little bit of the trailer for the movie?
Absolutely.
Discovering Destiny. Let's look a little bit of the trailer.
I want to take a few minutes just to tell my story, cause it ain't about me, I gotta give God the glory. Back in 95, I made the best decision when I gave my life to Christ and became a Christian. God wiped away the tears, erased my sins, took away my fears and them knucklehead friends. I opened the word and saw a brand new life. I saw with God's grace that I can do right. I can live a life worth remembering. Read for hours at a time and I kept learning. God opened the doors for me to make a demo, just trying to make a difference for the kids in the ghetto. Got it played on the radio, I was amazed. Then my phone started ringing like every day. Invitations coming in, now I'm doing my thing. Spread the good news and lives change. You've been faithful and true, and your grace brought me through. Thank you. I appreciate that, Lord.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, that's the teaser.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
I love it.
And I love, if I can say this, I love what Tara just said, because most people, when I talk to them, they don't go there, although, you know, I will follow the leader. She mentioned how hard it was to finish it. And, you know, I don't play a violin, but, you know, for anybody who wants to pursue your purpose, you got to be ready to pull up your sleeves and make the sacrifices. You're going to go to work anyway. Right. Why not do what you love to do?
Yeah, 100%.
Now, question for you. Based on what you just said, what are the top 3 things tangible that someone can do once they leave their job and they have the money that they can pursue to go right into their destiny? They got everything in order, but they just, besides the fear, like even though they have the fear, they're still ready. What are the top 3 things that you would suggest that someone can do to move forward in their destiny?
Great question. 1, identify your passion. You know, write down what you would do if you had millions of dollars, money was not an option. What would you do for free? Like really, really, really be honest with yourself. Would you start a business? Would you shoot a film? Would you open a restaurant? What is it that you love to do? So that's one thing, because that's your purpose.
Yes.
2, find a mentor that is already doing that. You know, if Ashida's doing it, if Tara's doing it, harass them, call them, email them, take them to lunch. I got here after 20 years of taking people to lunch and talking to people and being backstage at a play, and maybe I'm the supporting actor, but I'm talking to the lead actor. And when can we hang out? We can't hang out right now? Okay, I'll just be sitting over here waiting for you then.
Right.
So, and really soaking up their knowledge and experience. They've already been there. And then the third one, and the most important one out of all, and this is, I'm very dramatic. I don't think I'm dramatic, but I think being around other people, like my kids think I'm dramatic. If I told my kids, if I was on my deathbed, I did one thing right in life, just one, don't give up. Don't ever, ever quit If it's doing hair, if it's cutting the grass, whatever it is you're gonna do, and you got to go get the business license, get with the mentor. There's gonna be some trying times. There's gonna be some days that you're gonna feel like saying, "That's it. To hell with it. Don't do it. Don't give up."
Just take a break.
Absolutely, exactly.
Not a long
Breathe.
one.
Right.
Don't take a long one. Just
Yeah.
take a break.
Yeah, go get some ice cream and relax.
Right.
Now, I felt the ordained minister in you come out in that, because I know that feeds, that's something that we'll all need
Yeah.
during our journey of our purpose.
It's, yeah,
somewhere.
faith.
It's 100% faith, and it's real.
Yeah.
Do you, providing that message, I mean, give us one time in your journey, because you had the severance package, you had the money, you had the vision.
Yeah.
You had the mentors because you opened your mouth and you talked to
Yeah.
people. But give us an instance when you really were like, I'm not.
Oh, good one.
You know what I mean? I'm not. And what really helped you propel you to take that next step?
That's a good question, man. I love this show. Okay, so let me answer that real quick. I get the severance, and I don't want to give you guys the wrong impression, like it was like a treasure box that I opened, and it was for 7 months, 7 months of salary. So they said, "Do you want a lump sum every 2 weeks?" I said, "Pay me every 2 weeks because a brother will spend it." So for 7 months, I grinded, and I thought that I could knock some stuff out in 7 months. 7 months came, and it was expired. I got bills to pay. It was at that moment, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, I did have second thoughts. I did look back. I didn't go back, but I looked back. And I applied for multiple management positions. I interviewed, but I really, really, really believe that it was God's way of saying I was right where I was supposed to be. I've never been told so many times that I was overqualified. We'd love to offer you this position, but you made so much money at the last job. I couldn't get a job. And I kept trying. This is for real. I write down everything. I applied for over 30 jobs. I could not get a job, sometimes a callback. And then right when we were like on the verge of like, okay, brothers can't get groceries right now, then some more money came through. So for the last 2 years, that's been the trend. The money runs out. Everything's gonna be all right. You kids, you okay? We canceled the cable. We still got Netflix. And,
Right.
And the kids have been right there with me. The whole family's been like, "We got you." But it's been moment by moment, run out. Well, something's gonna happen, and it always happens.
Yeah.
I know that's
amazing.
pretty adventurous, and that may be like a really risky life that people don't want to live, but I can't go back. I just
But
can't.
you know what I hear? I hear entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
I hear the training wheels of being an entrepreneur, because that is the life of an entrepreneur.
It
Yeah.
is.
You either are hustling and something happens and you say, okay, we need money, we need, people to come help us, we need to make salary, or we need to hire someone at the last minute. You find someone who's amazing. It comes in all forms,
Yeah.
and it's not just financial.
Right.
And for what I'm hearing from you, those were your training wheels.
Yeah.
And
That's
then when
good.
you got to that point, you was already geared up and ready to go.
Yeah.
Because you understood it. You knew that faith, and you had that strength, and
Yeah.
you trained that muscle. So when something happens again, you know how to veer right through that.
Yeah. Wow. I love it. That's absolutely. Mm-hmm. And I will say this, because I wish this hour lasted for 10 hours, but let me just enjoy the honeymoon. With this entrepreneurial spirit, it's funny that when you step off into your destiny, which is not stepping into a bag of money or stepping into this fantasy, it's literally stepping into your purpose, you think different. Like money has ran out, and I've done stuff that I've never done before. Hey, Sheeta, let me hold 10 grand real quick. I'm gonna get you. And she's like, okay, I got you. When you gonna get me back? Like, I didn't have to do that before. But now I have to do certain things, and I have integrity, so you're gonna get your money back.
Right.
But I can't go back.
Yeah.
And I don't need 2 racks. I need 10, like right now. Can you wire? Can you wire that? You think different. You work, like when I was working on the film, to your point, Tara, I would if you come to my house, I have butcher paper up in the kitchen, and I'm writing down, after Ashida, then Tara's going to come in, she's going to talk about, I remember when he was 15. Then we're going to segue into the skit of when the kid is acting like me when he was 15. And I would be up at 3 o'clock in the morning, but it wasn't work.
Right.
Yeah.
The kids would get up at 6 time to go to school. I'm yawning like, "What you do, Daddy? I got that scene done."
Right.
I hate to say hate, but it was work doing what I was doing for other people.
Yeah. Yeah.
You stepped into a different place.
Yeah.
And so it's not work, it's where you're supposed to be.
Oh my God.
And everything looks different. The 9 to 5, the other stuff, everything touches and feels like once you feel what you're supposed to do, you can't forget it.
Oh
like
my
once
God.
you get that exposure, once that light gets turned on, you can't be in the dark ever again.
Yeah.
You can't do it.
Well, Sheeta said a minute ago about that muscle. You know, what's funny is that when you take, I've heard that like if you take two twins, well, actually I saw a documentary, it was amazing, I forget the name of it, but they took these two little Asian girls and they separated them at birth, identical twins, raised them differently. So when they got older, they started thinking something was in them saying that, I think I got some family. And so they looked for their biological parents and they ended up finding each other to make a long story short. I swear to God, one was raised in Asia, one was raised in America. When they put them in the same room, they started crying. Them girls was like Celie and on the color, and they naturally fell in. It was like innate. It was within them.
Right.
They were laying in the bed, 23 years old, looking at each other, snuggling. It was like, that's my sister. So once you find your purpose, it feels so natural that you can be up at 4 a.m. I got to send this email to Tara real quick and hit send. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And it's not work. It's like I'm a fish and I'm inside the water and I'm where I'm supposed to be.
I like that.
That's amazing.
I'm a fish and I'm inside the water and I'm where I'm supposed to
Just
be.
where I'm supposed to be. It's natural as a fish.
Oh my God.
Natural as a fish in water.
Yeah.
Natural.
I'm gonna
as a
need
fish.
those 10 racks though.
Wired as soon as possible.
And would you like to explain what those 10 racks is for the people who are watching and don't know?
Well, that's street vernacular for $10,000, please, in American currency.
Not
U.S.
2 racks.
dollars.
10. We don't need 2.
I got
we
big
need 10.
bills, baby.
Right,
I don't
right.
need 1,000.
So what's next for Timothy? What's next for your production company?
Great question. My book, Pursuing Purpose, that comes out in June. That's going to be a package deal with the film Discovering Destiny. We're about to go on a Destiny tour, and we're going to hit up colleges throughout the nation and then churches as well. So initially, we'll just be screening the film like we did in January, but we'll also be, once the book is finished, you'll be able to go to the product table, get Pursuing Purpose, where we'll be able to talk about practical steps like this.
Right.
I really get turned off, and I don't care what environment it's in, I get turned off when people tell me, you can be rich, but they don't tell me how.
Yes.
Like I've been married 19 years. You can be married, like, but how? What do I do when she get on my last nerve? You know, like, give me some practical step by step.
something.
Because I'm about to catch a case.
For all of y'all that don't, that means, well, I don't even want to go into what that means.
Right.
I'm sorry, I'm feeling like I'm just talking to y'all.
Right.
Okay, so let me back up, be professional. It'll be very practical, step by step. The book comes out, and then we're already in pre-production for the next film. This is not a documentary. This is a film. It's a love story with some dramatic twist in it, though. So put your
Really?
seatbelts on.
Shall Tara and
don't-
I audition?
Don't. I was just about,
That's
to
about
say.
Oh,
Don't
I
trip.
was about to say, do we have to audition? I just
No.
can't get a. I just can't get a part
You
written
can
in.
just-
I'm
yeah.
just.
No, you think I'm playing like, you're already in it. You
Okay,
just didn't know that.
Oh,
Okay.
There we go.
okay, Destiny.
Right, you heard it.
I'm a fish in the water.
Right. We gonna swim it out.
gonna swim it
We
out.
gonna swim it out. Have you taken this message back? And I know you're taking it to everyone, but have you gone back to your neighborhood and to those same people that, and it wasn't their fault that they influenced you negatively,
Yeah.
you were attracted to it. Have you gone back to try to give them your message to try to change where their mindset and where they're going?
Dude, I love these questions. You guys prepare, man. Like, anyways, yes, for the last 20 years. Now, but let me. That sounds so grand. The way people think, and I'll try to. You guys keep reminding me of our listeners and viewers. Let me try to explain it in a way that they can interpret it. The way that a lot of people think in the urban community, their trust level is not that high. You got to earn their trust. So it took 20 years of coming back around. I'm good. I don't want the joint. Another 2 years. Oh no, I don't drink anymore. Another 3 years. Oh, I'm good on that. Oh yeah, I'm not going out for. And it took years. Now we're all reunited. Like a lot of my people were in the film, you know, because I called everybody and said, "Hey Tara, I want you to talk about when you bailed me out of jail. Sheeta, I want you to talk about the time you found out I was messing with your sister." I had people in the film, like, and I said, be free with the way that we have to tell a real story, not a good story.
Right.
So yes, I've gone back, but it took me years to gain credibility with them because a lot of times, a lot of people just feel like, you know, this is a new little phase that you're in, you'll be back. So no, they thoroughly have respect.
That's let me digest that if you want to ask a question. That's what I mean.
It's interesting that in the urban community that we don't have a lot of trust and we don't have a lot of faith in other people.
Right.
And how we have to work extra hard to be able to get that trust from people that are in our community, even in our own families. You know, and you can hear it from different areas that stems from, you know, years back to slavery, reading all the generational issues. And I have issues with that because I'm like, I get that. But at a certain point, it just comes down to you being a person of integrity. And if somebody can actually see that person of integrity, then they can say, okay, I can vibe with you up until here. You can show me who you are. And then I'll take the next step and the next step. That's how I think you naturally build trust with anyone. But it's interesting that in our community, we can never get out of that, which means that we can never grow. You know, and we just stay stuck. How do we teach people to get unstuck?
Well, you know, you made a point a moment ago about slavery, and I know that, you know, you, based on your opinion, you're not really buying that completely. I was just about to go there, that there's been so much hurt in our culture that I understand the lack of trust. And I'll give you an example. Let's say it's a relationship. If male or female, we always use the woman as the example, but it can go both ways. Male or female, if they've been hurt a lot, then that new person, whether it be the new boyfriend or the new girlfriend, they have to understand what they're dealing with. That it's going to take, like, Sheeta's not going to warm up to you within a month. She's not going to tell you all her business. Tara is not going to buy everything that you're selling within the first 6 months. This girl's been hurt before. So the same thing, can you imagine that's an individual, but an entire community.
Right.
Single mothers, lied to, man gets pregnant, gone. We've been hurt so much that I understand that, you know, I got to be patient because I was frustrated. I came back the first day with the S on my chest like, guess what, everybody? We can all be free. And they were like, cuz if you don't smoke, you know. So I realized quickly, you got to be patient. People that have been hurt, they take a lot more time to warm up to you, whether that's an entire race of people or an individual.
That's good.
And you asked the question. You said, what can we do? Keep doing what we're doing. Look at y'all. Like, look, this is what we're doing. You're televised live right now. You could be in the hood right now, rolling somebody's blunt. You could be, you know, sitting at the house drinking a 40 ounce, and that's alcohol for those that are. We could all be a part of the statistic. We're a part of the solution. So just keep doing what we're doing.
Interesting.
I like that.
I do. I like that.
What do you tell your, because, I mean, we see you now teach, you know, on a great path, and your daughters, how old are your daughters?
16 and 13.
What do you tell them, or have you even really discussed with them your past and how you came out of it? Or what do you know, have you had that, like, honest conversation? Like, Daddy wasn't always rolling like you see right now.
Let me tell you something that might trip you out. Maybe it won't. I'm brutally honest with my kids. I have daughters, so I'm very, 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 very determined to raise strong women. So when we sat down, when both of them turned 13 at their respective times, we talked about sex. And we got the encyclopedia out and the you know, what is it called? The anatomy, and these are the consequences, and if you have the baby, I ain't raising them. And we went through all the consequences and the benefits, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, they know everything about me. I mean, when I say everything, I would say about 90%, because certain things is just still rated X, like just too high for them. But they know enough to know. They were there when I was making the movie. They've seen the movie about 50 times because I was at home. Every version of every edit, I had to go home and like watch it again. They know all of my people, you know, so I do shield them from certain things. You know, I hope that people find this funny. My oldest daughter's infatuated with, Daddy, when are you going to take me to Compton? I'm like, what's in Compton? So it's just on TV. They talk about, I said, what, you want to go get something to eat? You know, what do you want to do? And she's just, because they were raised in private schools and in very good communities and, you know, very diverse friends. And Becky and Molly are like their best friends, you know. And she's like, I want to go to Compton. And I'm like, all right, well, I guess we'll go to Bluto's and eat some barbecue or something. I don't know what you want to see.
Right.
But I tell them everything that I possibly can. You got to be an open book if you want to help.
Speaking of open book, before we let you go, I have a question. You've been married how long?
19 in
19
July.
years. In July what?
25th.
Oh, right. My birthday's July 30th.
Okay.
Just a little thing. Okay.
Just a little.
Congratulations on the 19
Oh, yeah,
years.
happy
These
birthday.
days,
Thank you.
19 months is saying something. So
Right.
19 years,
Yeah.
unreal.
You know how Jay said 30 is the new 20? 19 is the new 40.
On the real.
And the
Yeah,
Okay,
right.
I'm
On
sorry.
the real when it comes to marriage.
Because, you know, marriage is my favorite subject.
Her
Yes.
favorite.
Relationships,
And
marriage,
marriage, yes.
is my favorite subject. What advice do you have on pursuing your dream but still keeping your marriage? Because that could be very difficult to tread.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice on that?
For single people or people that are already
People
married?
that are married.
Great question. Open communication. You know, one thing just in regards to my relationship, when we met, I told her all of my hopes and dreams up front. Now, nobody felt deceived. It's not like all of a sudden you want to be a rapper.
You want to make a
Thank you,
movie.
Denzel. Don't want to go to work, boo-boo. Be honest with each other.
Right.
Don't keep secrets. And I'm not just saying salacious secrets, but in terms of like your passions, your dreams, your hopes. You read something in an article, don't just call your friend and tell her, girl, I think I'm going to. If that person is the last one to find out and they feel kind of like cheated or robbed or now we just have to sacrifice everything to support. As long as those conversations are happening on a regular basis, and you may have to agree to disagree sometime. Every conversation is not like Hollywood in the movies where we end up making love. Sometimes it's like, I don't want to do that. Well, you need to sleep on it because... and vice versa.
Right.
So whatever you want, you got to give that too. And sometimes it's like, okay, well, you want it. It may not be a career. Maybe you wanted this house. And I wanted a different one. If everyone's giving and taking and there's a mutual team, you know, we hear the expression teamwork makes the dream work. I think that in any relationship, specifically marriage, about your purpose, communicate on a regular basis. And then I keep thinking about something she said earlier and then pray about it. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, this is not a trick. It's going to sound like a trick. But like if this is my wife, then we talk about it and she's still not feeling me. I'm like, well, then let us pray.
Right. Let the
I just
Lord.
pray that you speak to Tara right now. And vice versa. Now it's your turn. And she's like, I don't know where he coming from right now, but as long as you keep faith in it, because you're not always going to be right. And you're not always going to get what you want when you want. But in order for you to accomplish your purpose, it has to be a unified front.
So what happens, one more question before we go, because I know it's almost time. What happens?
And you will beatbox before we leave. Don't play me like that. Go ahead.
I wasn't going to let it
Okay,
slide.
yeah, I'm
I'ma
saying
get it.
now
I'm
she-
gonna get it. I don't even have a comeback for that. And normally I do.
Okay, I'm sorry. I took your question.
What happens when you pray and you don't hear anything?
Good question. Wait.
Just wait.
One of the, you know, and I don't know if everyone would agree with me. I'm not into having the popular vote. But one of the biggest mistakes we do is just making random decisions. Mm-hmm. You know, for me, I'm an emotional person. That's not a bad thing. It can be. You know, if I'm out with y'all and somebody tried to disrespect you, it's going to be a problem. But on one hand, like when I get happy, I laugh. When I get sad, I cry. And somebody, you know, when you tell little boys, man up, don't cry, that's not natural.
Right.
It's natural to cry. But I used to make decisions emotionally, and that's when you make the wrong decision. So if you pray and you don't hear anything and you don't feel anything, don't do anything. Like, you know, I'm not trying to preach, but there's a verse that says, be still. After having done all, stand.
Stand.
So be still meaning don't quit your job yet.
No, exactly. Hello. Now we going somewhere.
Don't quit your job yet.
Do
just
not
keep
quit
saving your
job.
money.
Go to work. Be on time. Say yes, sir.
Why we got to remind people, be on time. Don't just go.
Yes, because I was in management, so I'm shifting into and be on time. Make sure you're So, you know, yes. If you don't feel anything, like I was at a point, everybody in the house knew it. I was literally like off 6 hours of sleep. I'm just like, take me to school, feed the dog, pick up the poop, go to work, rehearse the lines. I'm in the play, study the script. And they knew I couldn't do that much longer.
Yeah.
So when I said I can't do it much longer, everybody was like, good, what are they offering you? 7 months, take it.
Okay.
You know, if you don't feel that peace, let peace be the umpire that anchors your decision.
Yeah.
If you don't have that peace, and it's not always a voice, Sheeta, shoot the film. You know, if you don't feel led to do something, don't do it until you might wake up one day or be in the shower or driving. I was driving after having pitched a film idea to a company, and they were really, really, really excited, and we did this for weeks. And when we got down, and the contract was written, and I signed it. And then they changed their mind. Did you see I'm getting excited?
Yeah.
They changed their mind. I'm driving home with tears in my eyes, and I felt in my spirit, our film is just a story. Why don't you just tell your story?
Yeah. There it is.
Well, so wait until you have that piece.
All right.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Definitely.
All right.
So you ready?
Let's go.
Let's go.
Like I said,
All
all
right.
right.
So we got hip hop artist Timothy Teach Jones. I'm gonna drop a beat.
And I'm going to pull out because I don't do beats.
Well, you shouldn't say pull out.
Oh, well, see,
We're trying to stay focused
I'm going to back up.
on faith and things.
I'm going to back up.
Back up.
I'm just going to stop talking. That's what I'm going to stop doing.
All right, here we go. Boom, shock. Wait, just a boom.
She said, boom, shakalaka. Is this
See?
the Lion King?
All right, wait.
Lyrically, the epitome, no competition. Tara and Ashida, everybody listen. Chillin' on Hollywood Live, that's the show. When you see the green light, everybody go. Don't quit your job until you got peace, or you gon' end up living on the streets. Me and my homies, we come a long way. My family, that's all I gotta say. I'm out. Drop the mic.
Boom.
Mic
All
drop.
right.
That is
Yes.
the
Drop it.
show for Sunday.
Yes.
Success is the new black. Timothy Teach Jones.
Thank you for having me.
I'm Ashida Onrae as I bring it down.
But Timothy, where can they find you? Where can they find the movie? Where can they find you on social media?
Yeah, the best place to find me is social media. My new website is under construction, so go to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Timothy Teach Jones. There's a million Timothy Joneses. There's only one Timothy Teach Jones. Find me.
Teach.
Everything you need is there.
Teach.
Teach.
Oh, I'm Tara Johnson. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at TJ Wagging Her Tail.
And I'm Ashida Onrae, and you can find me at Ashida Onrae on Instagram.
Wag it, child.
Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. I hope we inspired you and made you laugh, and we look forward to inspiring you next week. See you then.
From executives Kevin Undergaro, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us. info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I am the official voice of Black Hollywood Live, Scipio. Instagram me at KingXOBay. Thanks for tuning in.
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.